All right. Cool. Hey, what's going on, man? Jason Harris here, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, Air Force pilot, special operations pilot, turned keynote speaker, executive coach, and airline pilot. Having fun here today, hanging out with my main man, Dana Harris, who happens to be my blood brother. Dana, what's going on today, man? How you feeling?
Another day in paradise, brother. Feel good. It's a Saturday and it's winter break.
Uh, yes, it's Saturday. It's another great day to be alive, man. For me, I woke up this morning excited for us to jump into a conversation, for us to just talk about a few things because what we realize is that a lot of the conversations that you and I are having, man, people wish that they could lean in on these conversations. And some of these conversations, they're just you and I as two brothers. Sometimes it's you and I as two black men. Sometimes it's you and I as two fathers just going through this journey in life. And then sometimes it's the stuff that comes from the keynote stage, man. I mean, we have so many different conversations, so many different things that we can cover. And it really feels like that cockpit conversation a lot of times. That, when you're in the cockpit, man, what happens is you're just kicking it. And now let me say this. The cockpits can get really weird. And what I mean by that is sometimes you might show up, bro, and it's somebody that you really not feeling and you really not
Mhm.
excited to fly with them, right? Like you really not excited, or they do something to make you feel weird, awkward, and you be like, I'm just not gonna talk, man. You ever had that kind of moment?
I have often,
Oh wow,
often.
okay.
It's kind of like I'm usually down for small talk, but when you have those moments, it's like, yeah, this is either going to be really, really small talk, or I'm going to do my best to guide the conversation. Like if it's a long period of time, I got to be around them. Let me see how I can referee this conversation myself.
Yeah, well, I think the cool thing is that obviously you and I, we know each other, we like each other. I think we also, those around us would say that you and I can talk. We have no loss of words. So again, I think for us, when we come into the cockpit, we have a cockpit conversation. We're gonna have a whole lot to talk about, man. So what's on your mind this morning?
You know, I often think about for today, right? So it's the holidays, right? And it's interesting because, some people they use the phrase happy holidays. I'm a happy holidays kind of guy. And I think that from going out this morning, I saw a bunch of different people. People seem to be in good spirits. What's the vibe there in the Denver Aurora area with the holidays? Sometimes for our age, we talk about it doesn't feel like the holidays, but what's the vibe in your area, man?
Man, I think the vibe, like in our neighborhood, is wild, man. It's like the neighbors have gone crazy with decorating, and there's lights everywhere. Like the HOA, I don't know, man. We got like a HOA, we got like a metro district, and it's a little bit of drama, but I don't care who's doing it. Whoever put it all together, man, they've decorated it and they've decorated it very, very well.
Uh-huh.
So the lights look amazing. We took a drive down some of the different streets, like in our neighborhood, man, there's like different themes. So the one theme that we was looking for this year that was there last year was on one part of the neighborhood when you drive in, all these houses had these massive snowmen in their backyard. And it was like
Oh, I
six,
remember that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we was looking for that, but this year it's only like three or four of them. We're like, man, what happened? People fell off, or did they move, or what? Right? And
Uh-huh.
then in some of the area, like on one street, they all got these big old candy canes. On another street, they
Okay.
all got gingerbread men. So like we would just drive through and we're counting like to see how many houses have it. And it's really cool, man, to just see how a whole street in a massive neighborhood just kind of really bonded over these Christmas decorations. And man, I've been known in my family as being the Grinch. Like I'm not a fan of Christmas. And there's a reason I'm not a fan of Christmas, but once I get to that season, I lean in and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy this time and realize that I get to make Christmas. I get to make the winter holiday season, whatever it is, just I get to make it special for me. And so
Mm.
while what I celebrate might not be in alignment with what you celebrate, for me, it ain't got nothing to do with your belief system or my belief system. For me, this holiday time period is really about family. Like I get to spend
Absolutely.
time with my family. That's it.
It's that simple.
Yeah,
That
man.
simple.
So what's the vibe your way, man?
Well, thankfully, I have two neighbors on my street that put up a lot of decorations. I've always been a fan of the Christmas lights and decorations. It takes me back to when we were young, living in Oakland, coming down Seminary. Up at the top of Seminary when it gets a lot nicer, a lot calmer. Um, I've always remembered going back there in that neighborhood and how granddaddy would take us around and look at those streets that everybody had Christmas lights. So that's one thing about me. I've been told I haven't been called a Grinch, I don't think. Uh, but I've been told, especially by our sister, that I get a little bah humbuggish around this time. And as you know, with my birthday being on December 25th, my students will ask me, like, when's your birthday? And I'm like, December 25th. And they're like, Christmas? No, December 25th. So that's my version. But the vibe is cool, man. I think I don't get in the spirit or the mood until that last day where we get out for winter break, because my 9 to 5 is a math teacher. And so like yesterday at 2:15 p.m., I was like, okay, let's bring it on. So pretty good, man, pretty good.
Good.
And similar to you, to me, it's about family. The opportunity to make memories with family, whether it's just a few, because we come from a big family, and so even if it's just the ability for a few of us to gather or a large gathering, that's what's most important to me.
Yeah, man. It's to me, it's about the family time. It's about the time we get to spend with the ones we love, and it's about like how do we enjoy that time with them, and how do we make sure that we make it count. Um, you know, some people will ask me like, "Well, what is it about the holidays that you don't like, and why are you kind of like Scrooge or the Grinch?" And here's the thing, man. I remember as a kid, like mom stressing about toys under the tree. And it's funny, man. I was looking at the Christmas tree in our house right now, and I realized like there's just a few things under that tree, and pretty much everything under that tree for my daughter are things that someone else sent her.
Mm,
Nothing that we bought her. And the reality is that for us, we give gifts year around. And more than the gifts, we give experiences. And so we get to travel and see the world, and we get the exposure to it, and we get to create memories throughout the year. But I recall this one time, man. You might remember the family, but there might be some parts of the story that you don't know.
hmm
And particular neighbor came to me. It was during the holiday season, and I remember it was before I got married. We were living together in our little crib, and this the spouse, the wife of a buddy of mine, a neighbor of ours, who was a super cool dude, and he was deployed in the army. His spouse, his wife, came to me and said, "Hey, I know you're into real estate. Can you buy my house?" I said, "Wait a minute. I can't buy your house because your husband is not aware of what's going on." She's like, "Well, I don't want him to know." Wait a minute. Let me get this straight.
Whoa.
She said, "I don't want him to know that I'm behind on my payments and I will be able to pay you the rent mortgage equivalent. I just don't want us to lose our house." I said, "Well, let me get this straight. So you're behind on your payments?" "Yes." I said, "Well, didn't you file your taxes?" She said, "Well, yeah, I filed them and I got my taxes early." I said, "Well, why don't you use that to catch up on your payments?" She said, "No, I want to give my kids a Christmas." And I thought, you
Mm.
would rather sacrifice the roof over your children's head than like you would sacrifice the roof over your children's head so that you can give them some toys, some stuff. And oh, by the way, your husband has a lot of stuff going on as a combat veteran in the United States Army. And I'm concerned that he's not going to be very happy when he comes back home and he finds out the truth about what really happened. And I said, I couldn't be a part of that. But more importantly, for me, man, what I walked away with was a bit of disdain for how people have adulterated the meaning of the holidays. as a time for
Yeah.
family and a time for creating memories instead of just a time to give somebody a bunch of stuff that really doesn't matter.
Right.
And nothing wrong with gifts. Gifts are great. However, there's something far better than gifts, and that's our time. Something far better than gifts, and that is letting people know that we care about them and that we're thinking about them. And so that's a little bit about my why behind why Christmas. It's a little bit interesting feeling when I get into the holidays, man.
I was today years old, knowing the background of, because it's been so long, you being the so-called Grinch is just kind of like family tradition. It's like he's not mean during the holidays. Like that's his character for the holidays. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm Santa Claus. Even though I'm not trying to give away a bunch of gifts. I got the beard, my birthday's on Christmas. I'm Santa Claus, you're the Grinch. So we're a great pair, you know. Um, but one of the things that comes to mind with that is me looking at quick story. I remember I was teaching middle school at the time, sixth grade, right? And my team of teachers, they were all older women, right? So probably 15 years older than me, old enough to be our mom, right? And one of them told me, we were getting ready for winter break, and she said, Harris, she said, these kids, many of them aren't looking forward to the holidays. And I said, well, why? She said, well, have you ever heard of TaxMas? And I said, no, what's TaxMas? She said, well, a lot of these kids that we teach, they're growing up in poverty, things like that, single parent homes. And she said a lot of these mothers, they wait until tax season when they get their taxes back, and then they buy them a bunch of gifts. And that blew my mind because you know how some things you can't see it until you see it,
Right.
and that was what changed my perspective initially. And you kind of connect that to the idea of, I'm like, wait, it's my birthday and I've got to buy a bunch of people things. And so today, even I was reflecting this morning as to some of the reasons why I have the thoughts around the Christmas holiday that I do. And so my thing now is to figure out ways to put some joy in someone else's lives, and it doesn't have to be with getting them a gift. Sometimes
Yeah.
it could be giving them a compliment. Sometimes it could just be giving them a phone call, having a
Right.
good conversation, and just sharing some joy, man. So that's kind of my Christmas story.
No, I love it, man. And I think what's important, like for each of us, is to understand what it is that we're doing. For each of us to understand what the season means to us, and I think for each of us to understand, like, what is our why. Like for me, I know what my why is around the holidays. I know what my why is for my family. I know what my why is when I do give someone a gift. And I know what my why is for how I view this entire time. And so a lot of us, we've just been conditioned and growing up from what we saw with our parents. And some of us, we will continue those traditions in a good way or maybe not so good way. And then some of us, we will begin to create our own traditions in a way that is fitting for who we have become. And I think for
Mm.
me, that's where I'm at on this journey. You know, when Kathy and I first got married, I was like, she wanted to get personalized gifts for all of y'all, and y'all loved it. It was cool. I have no
Touchdown.
idea if y'all still have any of those personalized gifts, but I remember that it felt so hard and challenging to figure out for each person. Like, and
Right.
now, of course, y'all got a whole bunch of kids. Like, so now you got gifts
I'm
from the
glad you said it
parents and
because
the
I was gonna say it.
right. And so, and initially when we got married, I was like, man, I just want to buy you some books, like, because I want to get you educated and set you up for success. And she was like, just because you want them to read, don't mean they're gonna read. So why would you buy them something that they're not gonna use? And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say you right, but maybe you got a good point.
You got a point.
Okay, she was right. Anyway, so don't let her hear that. But like for now, it's not even about like who's right, who's wrong. Now I'm at a point where I look at it and say, okay, um, how do I let somebody know that I'm thinking about them? How do I
Hmm.
minimize the energy in terms of gift giving and all of that stuff, but to
Hmm.
let people know that they matter,
Hmm.
but to also make it more imperative that it's about our time and it's about the caring and the kindness of the world that we exist in. And so with that, I think we have created our own version of the holidays, how we give gifts. We've created our own version of how we spend our time with just our family, with our daughter,
Absolutely.
and then how we spend time with our extended family. And I think for me, that's what matters. Like, and I think for
Absolutely.
each of us, we have to figure out how do we create the holidays the way we want to spend them and the way we want to create the memories with our families, with our children, and things like that, man.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Because I love that. So, in regards to the holidays and gift giving, are you a person that feels like, and I think this causes a lot of anxiety for a lot of people, right? Are you a person that feels like you get gifts because, let's say, I know this person is going to send us a gift every year, or they're going to send our daughter a gift every year. So I want to make sure we get something for them. Or are you like me? I get gifts for like I don't try to worry about that. And I get because even with it being my birthday, you can get me the simplest gift, and I've grown and matured to the point of where like this person thought of me.
Right.
Despite it being a holiday, this person thought of me to say happy birthday, or they sent me a gift for my birthday. So what's your take on gifts from that perspective? Because I see a lot of people, I, grandma, oh my goodness, our grandma, when I used to take her shopping for the holidays, and she's trying to figure out all these people. So what's your take on that?
And a couple of things in terms of gift giving. So, one, I personally would be okay if no one got me a gift. And the reason I say this is because I have everything that I need. And while I appreciate someone giving me a gift, I don't need anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And and I but I also understand like where I've had to get to the point of saying when someone is trying to be a blessing to you, you have to allow that person to be a blessing to you. And so
For real.
because of that, like I can't not allow you to be a blessing to me because if I do that, then I might block your blessing. And so I have to remember that sometimes because a lot of times I'm like, no, 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 we're good. Or I will want to pay for something. And it's like, no, sometimes you need to open up and allow that other person to be a blessing to you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need to, or me, Jason, I need to understand how to receive a blessing because sometimes it's
Mm.
hard to understand and appreciate how to receive a blessing. And there's different mental, psychological things that are at play with regards to that. But to your question, yes, if someone gets me a gift, then there is a feeling of obligation that I need to give them a gift back. Let me be really
Okay.
clear. If someone gets a gift for my daughter, then there is a feeling of obligation, but it depends on who that person is. Because there's a particular family member that every year they make sure that they get my daughter a gift. And I am
Mm-hmm.
so grateful and full of gratitude. And I know what that gift means to that person to give to my daughter. And I know what
Mm-hmm.
it means to my daughter and to me and my wife for my daughter to get that gift. While I don't give that person a gift back because it doesn't make sense to give that person a gift back, we make sure that we show our gratitude and appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, every time we go to that city where that family member is at, when we go to Oakland, we make sure that we spend time with that family member
Mm-hmm.
to show our appreciation. And so it's this interesting space, man, where in some cases, there are some cases where it's like, okay, if your child gave my child a gift and it was priced at this amount, then I want to make sure that I give your child a gift back that's priced at that same amount or higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the reciprocity rule for me and for my wife. But at the same time, I don't want to be hamstrung by the feeling of obligation. And so that's tough for me sometimes. Like, I don't like to feel obligated to give you something because you gave me something. At the same
Right.
time, and I would like to think that if you gave me something, you didn't give it to me to place an obligation on me. I would like to think that, but I don't know that with clarity or with certainty. And so I have to consider who it is, what they gave me,
Hmm.
why they gave it to me. Do they do it regularly? Is there some ulterior motive in there, right? Now, typically, for
Hmm.
those who are in my inner circle, if you would, in terms of family, if they gave
Hmm.
me a gift, if they gave my wife a gift, my daughter a gift, they gave that with no expectation. Like,
Right.
and maybe they gave it because we gave them a gift last year. Who knows, right? But
Right.
even down in the simplest form, the funniest thing, right, is like sometimes we'll send out all of our Christmas cards. Then you get an extra Christmas card, and you're like, oh snap, were they on the Christmas card list? Like, nah, cool, let's go ahead and send them a Christmas card. But
Right.
we also see that sometimes we'll add somebody to our Christmas card list, or they've already been on there and they forget that they're on our Christmas card list, and you could tell they'll be like, oh, we got Kathy and Jason's Christmas card, man. We forgot to send them. So I'm gonna go ahead and just send them a quick Christmas card to make sure that they know we appreciate it. So
Right.
the answer is a very broad scope answer, but at times it's obligation, at times it's just for the freeness of my heart. But I never want anything that I give to somebody to feel like an obligation, and I never want. Go ahead.
No, finish that point. Because you just gave me a thought too.
Yeah, man, I never want anything that I give somebody to feel like an obligation, and I never want anything that I receive to feel like an obligation. I want to be able to say, hey, it's a gift. That's the point. It's a gift. And then go from there.
I love that because the idea, it makes me think about the idea of what a gift really is, right? And because your brand is no fail trust. So we have to put something dealing with leadership, trust, no fail trust, right? As I listen to you say that, talk about that, right? You talk about donut moments, right? And connections in your keynote. And Kathy, and Alina's Christmas cards have essentially become donut moments for your family and your friends. I
Yeah.
know that when
Wow.
because I got my card within the last 10 days, right? And I already know this is their annual Christmas picture. What I
Mm.
love about it is because I even think about when Alina was born, and you all are big on taking pictures, family pictures. And I think, like, I was talking to someone the other day saying, like, I need to get back to doing that. But I love how you have essentially created a donut moment for your family to connect with other family and
Mm.
friends, right? So before we want to give the people some takeaways, right? What are some ideas that people can do to create their own donut moments and connections with their loved ones around the Christmas holiday, because that doesn't cost much,
No.
and so that reduces anxiety, that reduces stress and things like that. But then it becomes kind of like something that people look forward to. I look forward to it every year, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that question, man. I think in terms of creating these donut moments, the donut moments, they are all about connection. And it's all about how do I connect with the people that matter most. And I think if you were to really summarize everything that I've said about the holidays, to me, it's about connecting. It's about connecting with the people that matters. It's about creating that level of commitment, maintaining that level of accountability, and continuing to build on the levels of trust that you already have that are existing and that you want to continue to increase and build on. And so when it comes to family, like I believe that charity starts at home. And I believe that in so many different aspects. And so when I'm looking at, hey, what are the takeaways that we can give to people in this season, the holiday season, it is make the moments count. If the moments are the photos that you're taking, make them count. If the moments are not photo driven, doesn't matter. Like, put the phone away sometimes. You know,
Right.
um, put the work down, and not get wrapped up in the physical stuff, but the time and the attention and the love and the compassion. That's where this really matters for me. That's how you
Mm.
create that donut moment. And so for me, While I don't like how some people have made the holidays out to be about gift giving, about toys. I have, and I know that some people they make it about Christ. Some people they make it about Kwanzaa. Some people they make it about Hanukkah. It depends on their belief system, and I love all of that, as long as all of that is wrapped in the idea of family, as long as all of that is wrapped in the idea of love, as long as all of that is wrapped in the idea of those moments and memories. So my takeaway is this: as you're getting, as you're preparing for Christmas, even Christmas Day and beyond, my my thing for you is to make sure that you make the moments matter, make sure that you're creating memories, and make sure that you are present and in the moment with the people that matter most, because that's what they're going to remember. They're going to remember the memories. They might not remember the toys and the gifts, but they'll remember the time. They'll remember the memories that you create. And when you're creating these donut moments, it's about what memories are you creating with the people that matter most to you. So make this holiday season about love, about kindness, about compassion, and creating moments and memories with the people that matter most in your life.
I love that, man. I love it. It sounds like you landed the plane with that one.
And look, man, every now and then we got to figure out how to land a plane. So again, man, I appreciate you jumping in this cockpit conversation with me today, man. Um, any takeaways you have that you want to share, brother?
I think you said it best. I want to encourage people to do exactly what you just said and don't compare themselves to other people, even family. You know, we come up with these different traditions and things like that. As I listen to you say that, you know, someone, depending on what their situation is, their tradition that they can create doesn't have to be Christmas cards. It could be taking your significant other or your children, your close loved ones and friends, and going to drive around your city and look at Christmas lights, things like that. Like, I think about just the smells of pine needles,
Yeah,
things like that. There's certain memories that when we tap into the mind and we think about those kind of things, man, those things last forever. I know you can relate. If you got children, if you anyone watching this, if you have young children, they're not going to care about that new toy. They're not going to care about it.
yeah,
So please do what you can and think deep. We got the internet now, so you can find different ideas of new games to play with family and friends. But definitely, let's keep it about the memories, and because those things are forever, they're priceless.
yeah. Well, look, man, I appreciate it, man. We're going to wrap it up. For those who are joining us, man, um, more cockpit conversations to come. Follow us, like, share. If you want to connect with us, in the comments, if you want to get free download on 7 critical skill sets to help you navigate life, business, and success, go ahead and drop the number 7 in there. We'll shoot that to you. If you want to email us directly, you can reach us at info@nofailtrust.com. That's info@nofailtrust.com. Check us out. Excited to continue to bring you guys new episodes. Blue skies, fair winds, and all the best.
Peace. Are we done recording?
That's a wrap for that app.
That was dope,
Yeah, and I had to
and it
figure
had
out.
nothing to do with what we talked about prior.